What's up, nerds? So I watched the latest episode of Star Trek Strange New Worlds, and I know I'm late on this breakdown and everything, but in my defense, I thought when they released that cartoon episode with the cartoon show that they have, I thought that was the episode of the week. So when I found out that there was this episode, I was like, oh, shut up. So that's why this is late. Sorry, it won't happen again. I'll pay attention from now on. I'm going to break this down and not take up too much of your time, but I just want to say that this episode wasn't that bad. I didn't hate it. So I'm like, that's a plus, you know? But let me get into this breakdown and then tell you my full review at the end. All right, here we go. The Enterprise is hosting Ambassador Doc Ra, a Klingon general who defected to the Federation and works to promote peace. I actually really like the way the Klingons look right now in this show, unlike Discovery, where they just look like trash. I mean, they did reference Discovery at the beginning of this episode, which I was just like, ugh, those Klingons look terrible. He is said to have turned against the Klingon Empire after murdering his own officers when he learned that they had ordered attacks on civilians on the moon of Jagal. Man, Ahura didn't even give Ortegas like a hey or a nod, you know, just to let her know that the Klingon was in the room. She just let her put her foot in her mouth. And I was like, man, what a bad friend. Plus, I have to admit, watching Ahura simp for this Klingon was a tad annoying. I was like, yo, where's your loyalty? Veterans of the Federation Klingon War, including Ortegas, Mabinga, and Chapel, are uncomfortable with his presence. I like seeing the differences between the people that served in the war compared to the crew members that didn't serve in the war. And I also thought it was interesting seeing the people deal with their PTSD that were in the war. I mean, Ortega's just got angry and everything. Chapel just, you know, kind of like shut it all out and just kind of went with the flow. And in Mabinga, he had that complete panic attack. So I thought that was really interesting. Also, I'm on the Federation side all the way. So this Klingon can suck it. Flashbacks show Mabinga and Chapel's experiences serving at a field hospital at Jagal and witnessing the brutality of the Klingon forces under Jakar's command. I did like these flashbacks, but I was kind of crappy how Mabinga didn't give that special forces team that super soldier serum. I was like, I'll just give it to him, dude. I'm like, he's willing to take it, just give it to him. And I also like seeing the tough decisions that they had to make during the wartime. I mean, you know, their tough decisions are made during these times, and I'm glad they didn't shy away from that. Doc Ra invites Mabinga to join his campaign for peace, citing the symbolic power of a partnership between two men who were on opposing sides at Jagal, and offers to help Mabinga find healing from the trauma he experienced. This dojo sparring sequence was fine, but man, their fighting choreography was just bad. It was just terrible. Like they were just like hoo and everything, and I was just like, can you guys put a little bit more effort into it? Come on. Mabinga rejects Jakar's offer and eventually reveals that he knows it was Jakar who ordered the attacks on civilians, and Mabinga himself who killed the Klingon officers whose deaths Jakar took credit for. I saw this reveal coming as soon as the show showed the flashback with them killing the Klingon officers and then they didn't show the killer's face. I immediately knew it was Mabinga. I was like, oh, well, it was Mabinga because he's like the main character part of this show and everything. So I called it as soon as it happened. A fight breaks out and Mabinga kills Doc Ra with the same dagger in which he killed his officers. If that blurry fight was as bad as the sparring match, then the Klingon deserved to get stabbed, okay? Mabinga claims that he killed Doc Ra in self-defense, and Chapel collaborates his story. Man, Chapel is ride or die with her old war buddy, which is the way it should be. And that was the end of the episode. That's where it ended and everything. I have to say, you know, this episode wasn't like overwhelmingly great. I didn't watch this episode and go, oh my God, that was the best episode ever. But I did watch this episode and go, you know what? If they did more episodes like this, where I was just like, you know, it wasn't bad, but it wasn't great, then I wouldn't dislike this show as much. But I just don't like this show. You know, it's not good. I wish it was better. But, you know, what are you going to do? I'm glad that they made the Klingons look better because I thought that they looked terrible in Discovery. You know, they just look amazingly bad. And again, one thing that I do wish, and this episode really like hammered it home for me, I wish they had more aliens on the show. You know, we have, I know that the original series they didn't have you know, aliens on the bridge of the ship, and if they do, I don't remember them. But I do wish there were more aliens on the show. I'm kind of missing that in Star Trek. But maybe it's just me remembering a bunch of aliens on in Star Trek, and there weren't as many as I thought there were, but there weren't. But I don't know. I just always remember a bunch of aliens in Star Trek, and this show, I just feel like they're not giving it. I mean, and they're giving me humanoid aliens. Like we could have more. Like even Orions. I know they just paint their skin green, but they could have more of them. I would like to see more. But yeah, that's my thoughts on this episode. It wasn't terrible. It wasn't great, but if I can walk away from a Star Trek show and go, well, that wasn't a complete abortion, then I'm decently happy. Okay. And that's all I got for you guys. But tell me, what did you guys think about this episode? Did you like it? Did you love it? Did you not like it? What were your thoughts about, seeing the wartime stuff? I really wish they would show the wartime stuff, but like through a combat perspective, but I'm pretty sure that'll just cost a lot of money in digital effects and everything. That's why they don't want to do it. But what are you going to do? All right, but tell me what you guys thought. As always, if you like what I do here and you enjoy independent content here on YouTube, please consider subscribing to my channel. YouTube is always changing up their algorithm, and small channels like mine, we just keep getting shoved to the back of the line. So please ask that you like, share, and subscribe, and I thank you in advance. And as always, go ahead and leave all your comments in that section down below. If you like this video, go and hit that like button. I won't mind. If you're new to my channel, please hit that subscribe button. I'd greatly appreciate it. And I will see you guys next week on my Star Trek Strange New Worlds breakdown and review. You guys have a good week. Live long and prosper. Bye.